Now let's try and see what types of literature reviews are there. The issue of types is always a complex one, and you will read various types of literature reviews in the various research methods books that you're going to read. So for these purposes, for the purposes of our course, let's just refer to the distinction between theoretical, empirical, and methodological reviews. And for your dissertation, I would expect you to include issues around theoretical clusters in a body of literature which is connected to your topic of choice, but also empirical and methodological clusters. So in your literature review, I would like you to refer to any schools of thoughts, any clusters of opinions, clusters of findings in the previous literature, but also I would like you to make a point of whether or not that research is empirical or theoretical, and perhaps separate your literature reviews into sections: empirical research versus theoretical research, that sort of thing. Finally, I would expect you to refer to the methodology that has been employed. So if this group of scholars used a phenomenological methodology and that other group used a positivistic strategy, I would like you to point this out in the literature review. So when you read that literature review, it has to look at theoretical aspects of work as well as empirical and methodological. This is something I would like you to keep in mind and implement towards your dissertation. There are other types that I would like to refer to. So just don't look at the screen for a minute and try to listen to me. If you were to represent the narrative included in your literature review in a diagrammatic fashion, how would you do it? Would it look like this, so tabular? Would it be diagrammatic in this manner? Would it be literature histories, or would it be mind maps? To make your life easier, most students do it in this way. So if I was to represent diagrammatically the literature review of most students in their dissertations, they will look like mind maps. And many of them, not necessarily most, many of them would also do it in this fashion. So diagrammatic versus mind maps. It is a lot less common for a management topic to be attempted from this angle here of literature histories, but not impossible with certain topics, such as leadership, for example. Finally, the tabular type of representing review of the literature is very common with systematic literature reviews, which are more common in medical and psychology research, less common with management, but again, they do exist. So just to think of when you do your literature review, what do you think it would look like if you were to present it in a schematic fashion? The first two are more common for deductive research. So in the context of a deductive research design, you would attempt to do a literature review that would be represented as either a connection between the different hypotheses, between the different variables through different hypotheses, or in a tabular fashion, such as in a systematic literature review. In an inductive research, you would probably attempt one of these two. So literature histories, going chronologically through the body of literature. In this particular example from 1980s, where different schools of thought either diverge or come together up until 1985. Or it would look like mind maps, so that the connectedness between the different concepts which I expect many of you doing inductive research in your dissertation would choose for their literature review.